Right, this is an extended commentary for Taniwha, considering the first one was a bit short because it's only the 1 minute trailer. So this is the full package. Now, starting off with, you get the extended opening titles, which explains a bit more of what was happening at the time, how basically like ships were getting sent out all over the world for the royal insignia, you know, basically the royal family. The king at the time, this is before queens of our era, and they would basically explore, you know, the planet and collect trade information, cultures, you know, make trade agreements with certain peoples and all that stuff. Sometimes it wouldn't be so favorable, so they'd actually have battles and wars. Other times people got domesticated quite easily and were colonized subsequently. So, but yeah, there was 1817, there was a quote there. I tried to set it around 1800 because it was basically all these reports came back from large creatures that weren't really you know, known for Darwin or anybody else. So yeah, here we go, early 1800s, island off the coast of New Zealand. And originally it was going to be part of the mainland, but then I thought make it part of an island, which would be kind of more unique. You know, there's not actually too many islands off the coast of New Zealand, it's more North and South Island. But here you go, this beach, this is on Miramar, so where Peter Jackson and all them got their studios and where they all hang out. It was a great shot because there wasn't many boats and all that stuff looking out that way. But that boat is actually a modern boat. I had to hire that locally. There's a fisherman up the road there, up the beach, and he basically like lent it out to me for 50 bucks or 100 bucks for the day or whatever it was, and he waited on the sidelines to make sure nothing was damaged or it didn't get lost, and he could charge me later. But here I added like a slight low grade on the top of this, just so you have a little bit of the hint of how it's early morning, because in the story it's supposed to be like early morning as they arrive. They've been traveling overnight, they lose like someone, you know, they lose the sailor to a kraken the night before. This is all part of the real story. And then they show up on the beach, and they know they're a bit uneasy and all that stuff because they've lost a man. They don't really know how. It's not really a good omen kind of coming into it. So the whole vibe here was we're supposed to be a bit nervous and a bit basically like, you know, worried or concerned about what's going on exactly. But yeah, here we didn't really have much of a jungle to go into. It's just some bushes, but I kind of like shot it in a way and made it look like it. The captain actually lost his hat a few times there. If you ever watch the outtakes for Taniwha, you can kind of see I got some funny bits there because you know, how does like the captain lose his hat all the time, running around with no shoes, how the motor guys got like shoes and stuff like that. So yeah, some funny bits in the outtakes. It came out quite good. Cooter soundtrack. I got blocked from YouTube from having that around the world, but it was perfect fix. It was like the comedic, and my German family loved it, you know, because they saw it, so they gave it some props. Now here coming through, this is one of the first things we shot in the morning. We come into this like local wildlife reserve, which my producers sorted out. This wasn't location that I organized. I can organize the blue screen, basically stage later at night, and then also the beach and all that stuff. So I actually paid for the beach. I paid like $1,000, and that was just a joke because in the end the camera operator was a location guy, and he worked on Lord of the Rings and King Kong and all that stuff, and he said he could have got it for free. I shouldn't have paid, but they basically ripped me off because I was trying to keep everything legit at the time in case this ever got like, you know, properly bought up and they didn't want any legal issues, so I made sure of that. Yeah, here my janky accent. Me and the captain, we practiced for a few times, we rehearsed. We actually went out one night and we rehearsed at a pub, had a few drinks, played some pool, picked up a girl actually in the end, hooked up with her, kind of went on a date and all that stuff. I didn't last very long. A couple dates actually, but that was about it. Now this bit, this is all part of the nature reserve still. But around this point, this is where I lost my shoe. So we're kind of like, I was trying to do a shot coming around a bush, and then in the end, they all made it, but I got stuck in the mud, and it's quite funny. So you see I lost one of those shoes there, so those little buckles. There's a little bit of improv there at the end. Yeah, so this is me trying acting New Zealand, trying to do my epic and stuff at the time. Nothing like the epics nowadays, where it's all like green screen. This is real location stuff, and I was just dying to do this. I mean, I love like the Maori sort of research and all that. I mean, I researched for months pretty much as I was writing the script, before I wrote the script. This is pretty much in my second year, you know, so I shot it right at the beginning of my second year or toward the end of my like first, just so I had it. And then I was waiting on the editors and stuff, and good thing that I did have 2 years there because I would have never had it finished otherwise. The trailer's pretty much finished. We fine-tuned the script, worked on the script the second year. I was back and forth on Avatar, and then when I was free I'd kind of work on it But yeah, this is like some funny shots here, how close I am, you blatantly notice, but you know with film you have to cheat a little bit, you have to cut corners, because if they're too far away you can't even tell what's going on, so you have to kind of like, you know, fake it a little bit. All this stuff, I love this going through like the underbush and all that. He had his shoes on the first couple of takes, and they're like, right, we can see your shoes. I'm like, yeah, no shit, man, because I don't want him like hurt his feet. He's like, he's Modi, he's used to it. He'll go like without his shoes. It's all good, but and then this is coming back to the beach now. So this is again like a little bush area, not a proper jungle, but I kind of make it look like this crazy ass jungle. A lot of this landscape really fit with what I imagined, with the big sort of like open wide shots and all that stuff, looking down towards the beach and the ocean. I mean, this location was perfect. We actually put like a black sort of tarp up in the cave area. This cave, a little bit of history, was actually used in World War II when the Japanese were getting further and further south. So they built all these like anti-tank cannons or anti-aircraft cannons along the coast. So you can still find like the bunkers, you can find like basically the support struts and all that they were using. Obviously they cleared out like the, you know, the railway and stuff like that, but that's what it was used for. They actually blew a hole in that rock, and then they had basically the line of like weapons and soldiers or whatever going through there, just because it'd be easier, because if it was further down the beach they probably would have been washed away. Sadly this guy passed away afterwards. I don't really know the circumstances, but I don't think it was anything you know, to do with the film or anything. Don't know what it was, I was never really told, but yeah. My producer told me sadly he passed away. He was great, so the idea was that if we got funding for this, we'd probably all be playing parts, you know, we'd all be in it to some degree. If we really got the funding that I wanted, I would have had the big stars and we would have been small-time players, but I kind of shot this just as kind of a token, or basically like a symbol to kind of show that like this is what I'm trying to do. I could only shoot the period bit because the modern time stuff would have been too much with actors and rehearsing all that stuff. So this one, I'd rather do this. I'd rather go to New Zealand, spend my money and all that. That's actually from the original trailer, that's why it looks a little bit sketchy. And then here's the cave bit. There's the CG done by one of the Weta Digital guys. I actually had a few guys. I had a guy do the model who still works for Weta Digital, James Ogle. He was great. I crewed with him on a couple jobs. And then also this other guy, Eric Gambini, who got fired from Weta Digital because he wanted more money. He did the texturing and all that stuff, and it was the first time I was dealing with the CG model and textures and stuff, so I didn't really know what to say. They're like, what texture do you want? What do you want this or like that? But it was all a learning process. Quite proud of these end credits here. I did all these myself with a bit of sort of the Viking look, or you know, the period kind of look. And it's also one of the longest credits I've ever had, and I try to like boost it up obviously because of the extended version. But yeah, I basically got permission from the council. I got blessed by a local like Kamatua, the elder, and all that stuff. So we were all ready to go. It was just a matter of money. And then, of course, there was no money. You know, in New Zealand, they have no money as you go. Anyway, my book filmed 2008. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that and taught you something. Bye bye.